Prices here aren't cheap anymore. Could Bukit Jalil really become the next Mont Kiara, or maybe even overtake it? It used to be a leasehold property, but the developer later on converted it to a freehold property. And Bukit Jalil isn't just one big neighborhood, it has zones. And each has its own ecosystem. 400 meters, it took her about 40 minutes to get through the traffic. And Bukit Jalil is getting more and more packed. More and more high-rise condo are launching back to back. Or are you buying right at the peak? Looking at the rental prices nearby right now, is that the 3-bedded unit here already fact? So today, let's talk about something most people selling Bukit Jalil won't tell you. First of all, the jam here is crazy, especially along the Jalan Jalil Perkasa, the road in front of Jalil Link. So usually during peak hours, right, you will definitely get stuck there. So one of my friends shared with me her experience is that there was one time she was there during peak hours. For 100 meters, it took her about 40 minutes to get through the traffic. And when there's concert, it's gonna be worse. I was there during the Deng Ziqi's concert early this year, and then when I was heading back, wow, I get stuck there for an hour or so. Imagine if you're living here every morning, and evening when you come home and go to work, right? You need to go through this traffic before you can reach home. How does it feel? And of course, it's not just a jam. Bukit Jalil is getting more and more packed day by day. More and more high-rise condo are launching back to back, and towers are everywhere. And here's the uncomfortable truth: prices here aren't cheap anymore. In fact, some prices are already matching the ones in Mont Kiara. So ask yourself this: are you really buying into the next Mont Kiara, or are you buying right at the peak? Because here's a harsh reality: if you are buying in at Mont Kiara's price, who's going to buy over from you in the subsale market? So these are the real risks a lot of buyers don't think about. Let me ask you something: have you noticed how many rich people are quietly moving into Bukit Jalil lately? When you look around, suddenly you see more alphas than Vividz, Japanese-Korean family from Hong Kong, even expats from the Europe, all strolling around Pavilion Bukit Jalil or jogging at the park. And everyone says Bukit Jalil is the next big thing, but is it truly on par with Mont Kiara and Desa Park City, or is that just clever marketing? Could Bukit Jalil really become the next Mont Kiara, or maybe even overtake it? Or is this just a hype that's going to leave latecomers burnt? That's exactly what we are going to break down today. Hi everyone, this is Ray. Welcome back to another episode of the Malaysia Property Market Review series. Today, we are diving deep into Bukit Jalil, its growth drivers, its future potential, and most importantly, whether it's still worth your money. First, let's zoom out. Bukit Jalil isn't just one big neighborhood, it has zones. And each has its own ecosystem. The central zone are the most walkable to Pavilion Bukit Jalil, and it's the most talked about, most premium zone in Bukit Jalil. Right opposite the central zone, we have the Wellness City zone. That's anchored by Southeast Asia's first dedicated healthcare and wellness hub. And then at the other side of the central zone, we have the golf course zone, surrounded by landed estates and Bukit Jalil's golf and country resort, and then the outer zone that's closer towards Old Klang Road, Sri Petaling side. So before we dive in, let's talk a little bit about the connectivity here in Bukit Jalil first. So why are people suddenly choosing Bukit Jalil instead of places like, Mont Kiara, BJ or Puchong? Think about it. From Bukit Jalil, you are connected with the Max, Kesas, close proximity to the LDP, of course the Bukit Jalil highway as well. So there are multiple exits. Also, it has LRT station here, like the Awan Besar LRT station, the Muhiba LRT station as well. And location-wise, Bukit Jalil is kind of a sweet spot, about 10 to 20 km to KL City Centre, Valley, Bangsa South, where many working professionals are based. On the other side, you are close to Bandar Sunway, home to top universities like Taylor's, Monash, Sunway, and of course Inti as well. And it is also surrounded by mature neighborhoods like Sri Petaling, OUG, Old Klang Road, all famous for food and amenities. But here's something I noticed in Bukit Jalil today. You see more atas cafes and restaurants compared to old school kopitiam here. So what does that tell you? It signals higher spending power, a lifestyle-driven communities, and residents who are willing to pay a premium for comfort and convenience. So here's the real question: if both cost the same, let's say around 4K per month to rent a 3-bedroom unit, would you rather pay for Mont Kiara's older prestige, condo built 10 or 20 years ago, surrounded by more condos, or Bukit Jalil's newer upcoming luxury lifestyle with Pavilion Mall, 80-acre park, a golf course, top schools, and even Wellness City right at your doorstep? So that is why Bukit Jalil is standing out. Here's the part most people miss. Rich people don't just move because of location. They move for lifestyle ecosystem. So what makes Bukit Jalil so attractive to these people, right? Firstly, education. So in Bukit Jalil, there's a primary school called Liming Primary, one of Malaysia's most prestigious Chinese school. To get in, parents literally move house to stay nearby or to rent a house there, right? So it's not just about academics, it's about the network. Your child studies alongside CEOs and professionals' kids, and that alone drives property demand. So then for a lot of expats, we have the Tzu Chi International School. Even tougher to get in. You don't just apply, you go through a full screening process. They assess the child and parents' value. Many parents volunteer, donate time, and even relocate just to improve their chances. And here's the key, it's not about money, it's about exclusivity. So that exclusivity flows straight into the property market as well. Families who want to secure a spot in Liming or the Tzu Chi International School will pay 4 to 5k in rent just so they don't waste hours in traffic. Sounds familiar, right? It's the same pattern as Mont Kiara with Gardens International School. Education attracts rich families, and rich families push up property values. Next, we have the park. Now, we are not talking about tiny playgrounds. This is 80 acres in size, one of the largest urban park in all of KL. Family jog here every morning and evening, and retirees practice Tai Chi. Sometimes you will see some dance group practicing their dances there as well. On weekends, good luck even finding parking here to get into the park. But here's something I would like you to think about. If you notice, a lot of properties that are especially within walking distance to a park command higher rental prices, and the property price of course is not cheap. An example would be, of course, we have Desa Park City. Properties that are on top of the Central Park usually command higher rental as compared to those that are further away, and in Bukit Jalil as well. Now, here's the real reason. Because in today's market, true green space is scarce. Most new townships squeeze every inch into condos, malls and offices. But here in Bukit Jalil, you have got a massive park right at your doorstep, and lifestyle buyers will always pay more for greenery, clean air and health. That's also one of the main reasons why Desa Park City's prices keep breaking record year after year. It's not just the houses there, it's the park. So the same formula is playing out in Bukit Jalil right now. And here's the harsh truth. Once the lands around the park are taken, that's it. No developer can build another Bukit Jalil park. The supply is fixed, the demand keeps rising. And when something's rare plus desirable in real estate, prices only move one way. So next, let's talk about something most people overlook, the Bukit Jalil Golf and Country Resort. In property, golf courses aren't just about golf. They're about status and exclusivity. A golf course signals wealth. It filters the neighborhood. You don't see Pasar Malam vibe outside of golf course. You see high net worth families, luxury cars, and private club memberships. And Bukit Jalil Golf Course is surrounded by landed homes. In real estate, whenever you combine landed houses with golf course, condos nearby automatically climb in prestige. Why? Because people want the address halo effect, the psychology of living next to wealth. Think about it. Would you rather tell people you live next to a highway interchange or next to a golf course? The second instantly elevates your lifestyle image, and buyers pay for that perception. That's why condos around golf courses consistently outperform the market. It's the neighborhood identity, and Bukit Jalil has one of the rarest combination left in KL, with golf course, luxury landed properties, an 80-acre park, and a tier 1 shopping mall, which is the Pavilion shopping mall, all in one address. And now let's look into the crown jewel, Pavilion Bukit Jalil. Remember when it first opened during COVID, people laugh, say, so big, so empty, who's going to shop here? Some even call it a white elephant. But moving forward to today, try coming on a weekend. You can't even find parking here, and the traffic spills out to the highway. Families are driving in all the ways from Puchong, OUG, Sri Petaling Sedang, or even Kajang, because Pavilion has become the heartbeat of the southern part of KL. And here's the thing most people don't realize. Malls don't just sell retails, they reposition the entire neighborhood. Think about it, Mid-Valley transforms Seputeh, One Utama transformed Bandar Utama. Desa Park City Waterfront turned a hillside into one of KL's most premium addresses. So the real question is this: if Pavilion Bukit Jalil can transform from an empty mall to weekend hotspot in just 3 years, what will it do to the property prices here in the next 5 years? And if you thought Bukit Jalil is already matured, look again. The next wave is only just starting. Right opposite Pavilion, we have a 26.5-acre KL Wellness City, not just another hospital project, but Southeast Asia's first healthcare and wellness city. So the international hospital that's currently under construction consists of over 1,000 beds, and the entire township consists of medical suites, research lab, commercial towers, a wellness mall, even a retirement resort. And the phase 1 is more than 40% completed. Now here's why this matters. Malaysia isn't just a property story, it's a medical tourism giant. In 2019, we welcomed around 1.3 million medical tourists, generating over 1.7 billion in revenue. Post-COVID, the sector has rebounded strongly from 286 million USD in 2022 alone, and half of 2023 already surpassed the previous records. So why do people come to Malaysia for healthcare? Now that's because Malaysia offers world-class healthcare at 30 to 60% cheaper than the US or Europe and even Singapore. We have English and Mandarin speaking doctors, internationally accredited hospitals, and treatment package that includes, guess what? Recovery in resort, luxury condos. So think about it. If the international patients are already flying here just for treatment, what happens when they can live here inside the KL Wellness City itself? And of course, it's not just foreigner, outstation Malaysians from Johor, Penang, East Malaysia, they all come to KL for specialist care. So for example, my grandpa from Teluk Intan, he would travel all the way to Sunway just to see the specialist. And when they're here, where do they stay? Some of those rich people may even get a holiday home nearby just for the conveniences. And in Bukit Jalil, where you have park, hospitals, schools, malls, and all the amenities you want, this is the perfect spot for them. And that's also why the rent here are already insane. A normal 3-bedroom unit here is renting from around 3.5k to 4.5k every month. So it's already catching up to the rental prices in Mont Kiara. Now something I noticed as well, Bukit Jalil is also an odd place where you don't have a lot of commercial offices, but the rental, it's not cheap here. So this reminds me exactly of Desa Park City. They don't have grade A offices there or nearby, but lifestyle alone made the rent and prices explode. So if you look into it, Bukit Jalil is following the same playbook with one big difference, that is adding on the KL Wellness City and the Meranti Tech Park, and suddenly lifestyle is backed by jobs, research, and global demand. So the real question is, when you put education, healthcare, technology, lifestyle into one location, is Bukit Jalil just another suburb, or is it becoming KL's next Mont Kiara, maybe even overtaking it? So now let's dive deep into the 4 zones in Bukit Jalil, because not all Bukit Jalil is the same. Every street, every project carries a different DNA, and if you buy into the wrong pocket, you might end up paying Mont Kiara prices for Sedang's return. So Zone 1 is the heart of Bukit Jalil. If you can walk to Pavilion Bukit Jalil, you are in the most premium zone. And here's the truth, land here is almost fully taken up. There will only be fewer and fewer future launches. So now let's look into some completed projects here in the central zone. So first we have Park Sky, completed in 2019. It was launched at around 800 ringgit per square feet, and now sub-sale transacted nearly at around 1,000 ringgit per square feet. Then we have Park 2, which was completed in 2021, launched at around 840 ringgit per square feet. The sub-sale properties are transacting at around 1,050 ringgit per square feet on average. Then we have the Tropica, which was completed in 2023, launched at around 550 ringgit per square feet, with today's selling price at around 950 ringgit per square feet. So these numbers are showing that central Bukit Jalil has proven appreciation. So now there are some upcoming new projects in the central region as well. I believe some of you who are familiar with this area would have heard about Kingswoodz and Queenswoodz by Exsim, which was launched last year, and Queenswoodz this year. So both are leasehold, selling price from around 410k all the way to 1.2 mil. So size ranges from around 474 square feet all the way to 1,004 square feet. one thing worth pointing out is that Queenswoodz actually comes with something rare in Bukit Jalil, that is they actually have dual key layout as well. So let's say if you're buying for own stay, you can have your parents staying in one unit and you staying at the other side. So if you are buying for own stay plus investment, you can rent out the studio unit and the other for your own stay or vice versa. But of course, if you're looking purely into investment, it will give you higher ROI as compared to a non-dual key unit. Okay, so now let's talk about the pros. Firstly, it has slightly lower entry price compared to more central projects. So it's a way in for some young investors or some families who prefer slightly lower entry price but want to enjoy the convenience of the central zone. And it is also walking distance to the LRT station and the 80-acre Bukit Jalil Recreational Park, and of course Pavilion Mall as well. Another upside is that it's literally just next to Jalil Link, packed with some atas kopitiam, pharmacies, clinics, convenience stores. So for tenants, this lifestyle convenience is priceless. And of course, the dual key layout, which I've mentioned earlier, so it's quite flexible in the sense that you can live in one side and rent out the other side. Now as for the con, firstly, high density. So Kingswoodz itself has 1,558 units, and for Queenswoodz it has 1,004 units in total. But let's be honest, this is a norm for KL's condos today. So the real question we need to ask is, can the demand here support the supply? Looking at the rental prices nearby right now, the answer is definitely yes. A standard 3-bedded unit here already fetch around 3.5 to 4.5k. So think about Mont Kiara. Condos are everywhere, front, back, left, right. Yet rental remains sky high because demand is deep. And in Bukit Jalil, the plus side is that you still get park views, you can still see the golf course view, and also surrounded by quite a lot of landed properties here. So that filters the neighborhood and keeps it premium. If you'd like to know more about this project or get to know more about Malaysia's property market inside, or have a personalized loan consultation, just check out the link in the description below. So in the description below, you also find the link to our Telegram group where we'll be sharing the latest property market updates in Malaysia. So another con is, I don't know if it's really a con, to some people maybe yes, is that it's leasehold. So freehold and leasehold, actually to me, especially as an investor, it doesn't really matter a lot. Because why? Concerns for leasehold is that they're afraid the government will take back their lands, right? But actually in Malaysia's law, if the government need to use this piece of land for infrastructure purposes, they will take it back. That of course they'll compensate you based on the property prices when they take back the land. So just to give you an example, in Mont Kiara, some freehold landed properties there already received letters from the government stating that they need to take back the land there to make way for the construction of the MRT Line 3. So regardless of whether your property is freehold and leasehold, it doesn't really matter that much, right? And in Malaysia, we are very lucky in the sense that we can actually opt to renew even though it's a leasehold property. So just to share with you something interesting, there's a condo nearby in Bukit Jalil called Skylux. It used to be a leasehold property, but the developer later on converted it to a freehold property, and the residents there just top up a few thousand ringgit and they actually got their property from leasehold to freehold. So that's the beauty of Malaysia property. So today it could be leasehold, maybe tomorrow, a year down the road, it could become a freehold. Now next we have Park Green by Pavilion themselves, launching at around 1.1 mil. It's a freehold property. Size ranges from 1,002 to 1,006 per square feet. So the pros is that it's walking distance to Pavilion and also the Bukit Jalil Park. It has larger unit size in general for families who are looking for something decent in between. Maybe some family who wants to downgrade from a huge landed property and don't want to squeeze into tiny apartments. So this 1,002 to 1,006 square feet is the perfect size for them. It is positioned as a premium lifestyle-driven product. Now as for the con, it has a higher absolute price with an entry price of 1.1 mil onwards. So in summary, Zone 1 is the most walkable, most prime, most proven. Pavilion Mall and the 80-acre park are right at your doorstep. But here's the catch. There are almost no land left. So once Kingswoodz, Queenswoodz and Park Green are completed, how many more central projects can launch here? So if you're looking for a prime Bukit Jalil address, whether for own stay or for investment, these are few projects you should be eyeing before the window closes. Now next, let's look into zone number 2, the KL Wellness City site. This zone isn't about legacy, it's about potential. With KL Wellness City rising soon, complete with hospital and wellness center and commercial zone, this area have a huge potential for capital appreciation. So completed projects here here are mid-tier condos with price per square feet ranging from 600 to 800 ringgit per square feet. They're popular among young families and students from IMU or APU. It thus comes with a steady rental appeal here as well. Upcoming projects, we have the Ren residence with price starting from around 700 ringgit per square feet. So the pros is that it has lower entry price compared to the central Bukit Jalil zone. Good for those who want the Bukit Jalil address but want to keep your budget a bit lower. As for the con, it's not really walkable to Pavilion Mall or the LRT station. The immediate surrounding still feels a little bit more low cost or less polished compared to the central zone, and some buyers may not like the environment here. Now next we have Veladaz and Vividz, price starting from around 700 ringgit per square feet. Pros, it's similar to Ren residence where it has slightly lower entry price with the Bukit Jalil address, and another upside is that these two projects are located inside KL Wellness City itself, so there's a strong potential for capital appreciation once the hospital, medical suites and rental components are completed. As for the con, right now it's not walkable to the LRT or the Pavilion Mall, but of course the developer did mention they will have shuttle services that brings residents from the condo to Pavilion Mall and nearby LRT station. And of course, until the Wellness City is fully up and running, the area feels a bit quiet, not much retail or lifestyle within walking distance yet. So the bet here is simple. You are buying into future of Wellness City. If it succeeds, early buyer will benefit. If it takes longer time to mature, you may need to hold on to your property for a little. Now let's look into Zone 3. So this is Bukit Jalil's family-friendly zone. It doesn't carry the same height premium as those that are in the central zone, but it offers stability and conveniences for daily living. So as for the completed project here, there is Rosewood, freehold project selling at around 600 ringgit per square feet right now. So the pros is that it's walking distance to the Muhiba LRT station, next to the retail with local kopitiam, mini marts and neighborhood conveniences, larger units at a lower absolute price compared to the central region, and a practical choice for families. As for the con, the surrounding area is less polished, surrounded by older shop lots and properties, so not as aspirational as the central zone, which may cap future upside. Next, we have Watts and Maple residences. Technically, they are both located in OUG. The reason why I'm including them in the outer zone of Bukit Jalil is because they are quite near to Bukit Jalil, and quite a number of people mistaken them as being part of Bukit Jalil. They are both freehold project with price currently ranging at around 650 to 700 ringgit per square feet. The pros is that it's a mid-density project with practical layouts, very suitable for a family as well. So for Watts in particular, it has an advantage over Maple. Reason being is because Food Merchant is located less than 300 meters from it. Adds on to the conveniences in the neighborhood and of course makes daily life easier. As for the con, the road in front of Watts and Maple connects towards Old Klang roadside, one of the most congested roads during peak hours, and while the developers marketed the area as a full township ecosystem, so far only these two residences stands completed. But of course, the good news here is Watts does still have practical advantages with direct access to Food Merchant and daily conveniences. But the long-term growth story here isn't as clear as Pavilion and the Wellness City side. So if you're family buyers who value space, you prefer a quieter region, this zone makes more sense. You won't pay the central zone's premium, yet you still get the LRT access for some projects, food conveniences and family size layout. So now let's talk about Zone 4. The golf course site, which is also the prestige zone of Bukit Jalil. So if you want green view, exclusivity and a rare golf landed combo, this is where you look. And the highlight here, Oaka residence. It's a freehold property with size ranging from around 800 over square feet to 1005 square feet, launching at around 880 square feet. So the entry price starts roughly at around 790,000. So the pros of Oaka is that surrounded by a landed home and of course just next to the golf course. And although it's a quieter pocket, you're still short drive to Pavilion Bukit Jalil, Tropica Retail, IMU, APU, of course the Columbia Hospital. So convenience is still there. And as for the con here, it's not that walkable to the central amenities like the LRT station, Pavilion, and of course the park. So this zone is for buyers who are looking for quiet luxury. So if you prefer convenience and you are an investor chasing for rental yield, then Zone 1, which is a central zone, makes more sense. But if you are an affluent family, someone who value peace, space, greenery, and prestige, Zone 4 is the one. I've compiled the info of all the projects in Bukit Jalil, like their sizes, price, maintenance fee. So if you want to know more, you can check out the link in the description below. So now let's look into the rental data. And this is where Bukit Jalil really surprises people. Let's start with the central zone, the most prime walkable to Pavilion area. Firstly, we have Park 2. So this one is literally doorstep to the Pavilion Bukit Jalil Mall. The link bridge brings you straight into the mall with endless retail banks, grocery, restaurants, clinics, all within walking distance. And also within close proximity to the 80-acre Bukit Jalil Recreational Park, so residents get a rare balance of city convenience plus greenery. Rental-wise, a normal 3-bedroom unit with size ranging around 750 square feet to 933 square feet goes for 3,500 to 4,500 ringgit depending on finishing. So if you are eyeing for the larger 4-bedroom layout at around 1,570 square feet, that's renting around 7.5 to 8k per month, and that's Mont Kiara's level rent, but right here in Bukit Jalil. Then we have the Tropica just opposite the park with its own retail strip below. We have grocery, restaurant with live band, Starbucks, a gym like Anytime Fitness. So for tenants, it's lifestyle and convenience in one. So the rental prices here for a 2-bedroom unit 700 square feet range from 2.5k to 3.5k, 3-bedroom 974 square feet from 3.5 to 4k, and then the bigger 3-bedroom unit with a size of 1,002 square feet is renting at around 6,000 ringgit per month. Then we have Skylux, which is doorstep to the park as well, but more private as compared to Tropica. No bustling retail below. Instead, inside the condo itself, you'll find a small convenience store and a cafe for residents. So rental prices for a 2-bedroom 730 square feet unit is at 2.6k per month, and a 3-bedroom with size ranging from 978 square feet to 1033 square feet is renting from between 3.2k to 4.5k. And then there's Paraiso. Now Paraiso is not as high-end as Park 2, Tropica or Skylux. It's more affordable mid to lower end market with fewer facilities, but because it's walkable to Pavilion, a 960 square feet 3-bedroom unit still rent at around 2.1 to 2.5k, and their bigger 1,000 to 1,226 square feet unit can fetch up to 3k every month. So you can see that in Central Zone, you actually get to fetch more premium rents from 3,500 to 4,500 for a typical 3-bedroom unit, and bigger layouts can even reach up to 6 to 8k rental per month. Even middle lower end condo like the Paraiso rides the Pavilion effect. Now compare that with the outer central region, like we have Rosewood, the Hive and Watts. Their typical 2-bedroom unit is renting at around 2.2 to 2.6k. 3-bedroom generally rent at around 2.8 to 3.5k. So if you are curious about the real number, the rentals here, subsale prices of all the projects in Bukit Jalil, I've dropped a full PDF link in the description below. So you can see the gap is quite obvious. As compared to the outer region, central region usually fetch higher rents. Why is that so, right? The reason is because in property, lifestyle and walkability always command a premium. Central zones give you the Pavilion Mall, the park, retail, restaurants, clinics, and also the LRT station, all within walking distance. And outside of it, yes, maybe you can get a bigger size unit with slightly lower price per square feet, but you lose the walkable lifestyle. And that's the secret. You see, even Paraiso, a basic condo, rents well because it's near Pavilion. Tenants will always pay more for convenience and lifestyle. So yes, we know Bukit Jalil's traffic is bad. Jalan Perkasa can feel like car park during peak hours, right? And more condos keep coming up. But here's a surprise. So even with all this, right, the rent here keeps going up. The people moving in here today is very different from the ones 10 years ago. Nowadays, you see a lot of expats like from Hong Kong, China, Taiwan, of course from the European as well, Japanese, Korean. So there are more and more expats moving into Bukit Jalil area. And on top of that, there are also more and more high-income earners starting to move over to this location as well, especially the central zone of Bukit Jalil. So a lot of them don't look into traffic because, to be honest, where in KL that doesn't have traffic, right? Even in Puchong, 10 years ago, we say, why we want to move to Puchong is because, there's no jam there. But right now, look at the jam there. It's horrendous, right? So a lot of these expats and also high-income earners, what they look for are mostly lifestyle. So where else can you find an 80-acre recreational park? Then next door, there's a Grade A shopping mall, which is the Pavilion Mall, right? And then followed by all the conveniences, surrounded by a lot of mature neighborhood, like OUG, Street Petaling, Old Klang with all great food, right? And also a short drive to Sunway where you have, all the university. And in Bukit Bukit Jalil itself, they also have some universities like in the IMU, one of the most famous medical school, also the APU, which is the tech school, and of course the international school here like Siji International School and the famous SJKC Liming. And upcoming, we'll be expecting the KL Wellness City to come up together with Meranti Tech Park here, creating more job opportunities in Bukit Jalil itself. This is the reason why new projects here are already selling close to the prices in Mont Kiara. So conclusion, traffic, yes, it's bad, right? Especially, you know, when there's concert or there's sports events, right? But lifestyle always wins. Look at Desa Park City. The jam there is also very bad, especially during peak hours, you know, the roundabout there, right? And for Desa Park City, the sad thing is there's only 2 access roads. So, you know, during peak hours, you know, you get stuck there. But people are still paying 1,000 plus per square feet to live there because of the park, the international school, the hospital, the amenities, and the lifestyle in Desa Park City itself. So, which Bukit Jalil zone makes the most sense for you? So, let's do a quick summary. So we have the Central Pavilion zone, which is the safe choice, walkable pavilion right at your doorstep, proven rental demand, but it comes at a price. 3-bedded here renting at around 3.5k to 4.5k, and a 4-bedded can even touch 8,000 ringgit every month. It's safe, stable, but premium. Then we have the Wellness City side, the growth story. Today's rent are lower, but with KL Wellness City in progress, this area could transform within the next few years. If the ecosystem succeeds, values here will re-rated like Desa Park City did. Then we have the Wards and Maple residence side, the family zone, which consists of larger layout, stable community, plenty of food and daily conveniences nearby. So it's great for own stay as well, but less potential for appreciation as compared to the Central Zone and the Wellness City Zone. Lastly, we have the Golf Course Zone, the prestige address, surrounded by landed properties and the golf course. So this is Bukit Jalil. It's not just one single market. It's 4 different micro markets, each with its own story, and the rental numbers proves it. Central Zone is already commanding Mont Kiara levels rent, while outside zone are still catching up. So if you pick the wrong zone, you're stuck with a unit no one wants to rent or buy. Pick the right one and you will be holding the keys to KL's next Mont Kiara. Thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed this Bukit Jalil review, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. It really motivates me to create more contents like this for you. Until we meet again, ciao!